reflection across the disciplines. As we are about to move forward to the plenary session, I request all the participants who have joined us and participants out there, please occupy the seats so that we can resume the plenary session. It is indeed a great honor and privilege for me to invite Dr. Ajay Kumar Shukla sir on his stage and take a seat as today's speaker. Welcoming you, sir. I feel very honored to take the opportunity to welcome Professor Dr. I.D. Tiwari sir, Registrar, Indra Kala Sangeet Vishwavidyalaya, on stage as today's chair. Now, I request Dr. I.D. Tiwari sir to honor our today's speaker, Dr. Ajay Kumar Shukla sir, with a memento. Baldeep Kaur, please come on stage to get your certificate for participating in the poetry competition. Please give a big round of applause for the man of distant vision, a fountainhead of illuminating ideas, idol of knowledge, experience, and inspiration to all of us. I would like to invite Dr. Ajay Kumar Shukla sir on mic to speak on the topic. Sir, your presence gives us encouragement and inspiration. Please bless us with the priceless wisdom and enlighten our mind with your precious word. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, respected chairperson of this session, Professor I.D. Tiwari ji, invited members, delegates. I will continue my lecture because that was the inaugural address with brief points on the subject. I will continue it with some facts and also how climate change is reflected in literature and what are some campaigns which are going on, especially in India and also in other countries. So I remember that there is a famous African-American writer, W.E.B. Du Bois. He's a famous 20th century African-American writer, and he fought for the sake of the freedom of the blacks and the other important issues. He made a statement that the problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line. This was the statement of W.E.B. Du Bois, a 20th century African American writer. That the problem of 20th century is the problem of color line. Now, with a nod to Du Bois, Lawrence Buell, who is a professor of American literature, especially antebellum American literature, and a pioneer of, eco-criticism, he opened his 2000 book entitled The Future of Environmental Critics. by suggesting that although issues of race are sadly still with us, but our emerging global environmental crisis will be the greatest problem of the coming century. So this was actually the statement which was made by a great environmentalist, great eco-critic. It is a fact that with the advancement of industrialization, modern technologies, globalization and scientific developments, a great rupture has taken place between age-old cohesive relationship between man and nature. There was a statement of Ellen M. Edison, and the statement is that modern technology owes ecology and apology. The meaning of this sentence is modern technology owes ecology and apology. If you translate it, it roughly translates that technology has done more harm than good to the environment. This constant devaluation and degradation of the ecosystem is causing a severe ecological imbalance and pushing the earth towards annihilation. Literature has always served two roles, and those who are the students of literature, they are familiar with arts for art's sake and art for life's sake. For some people, it is, some writers, it is for art's sake, and for others, it is the mirror of society. But literary studies for a long time did not pay any attention to this kind of burning issues of the contemporary time. And everybody knows that this ecosystem, the imbalance in ecosystem, is due to human atrocities on nature. Towards the end of the previous century, that is the closing part of the 20th century, an area of studying literature emerged. And this kind of study we call it nature writing, as Professor I.D. Tiwari has said, or eco-criticism. You can also call it environmental literary criticism, or for that matter, green studies. Major environmental issues like global warming, ocean acidification, species extinction, Madam is working on that, she had just met me, habitat destruction, air quality, intensive farming, desertification, soil erosion, soil salination, nano pollution, nuclear fallout. All these issues are now discussed through advocacy, education, and activism. As is said, that we never know the worth of the water till the well is dry. So when the environmental degradation was taking place, people at the international level, they became aware and they started forming many NGOs like Greenpeace, Friends of the Earth, Worldwide Fund for Nature. We have many social media campaigns, as I discussed in my inaugural address. And we have the Twitter campaign of Mr. Beast with the hashtag Team Trees, the target of 20 million trees, and he was successful also. The increasing number of films being produced, as Dr. Pandya said in his address, on environmental issues, especially on climate change and global warming. In this context, I would like to mention an inconvenient truth. An inconvenient truth is a 2006 American documentary film directed by Davis Guggenheim about former United States Vice President Al Gore's campaign to educate people about global warming. The film features a slideshow that, by Gore's own estimate, he has presented over 1,000 times to audience worldwide. Another movie which I would like to mention here is Fern Gully, The Rainforest, 1992. It's an animated film about rainforest destruction. We can also take the example of Don't Look Up, 2021 movie. It's a record-breaking Netflix film. You just go to the Netflix and you'll find out that it has made many records. We can also mention Before the Flood, which came in 2016. And again, a movie which came in 2019 is entitled 2040. So these are actually the movies which are based on the climate change and also on the awareness. Abhishek Bachchan, after being honored in Green Global Award function on February 2, 2012, he said that he wanted to do a movie on environment because there is some kind of purpose to be called celebrityhood. So instead of saying save the earth, let us now say serve the earth. The time has now come of serving the earth. As Professor Tiwari in his presidential address said about climate, that what basically climate change is and what climate is. So climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns, as he has said in his concluding remarks. This shift may be natural, such as through variations in solar cycle, but since 1800s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to burning fossil fuels like coal, oil and gas, etc. Now, there are certain examples which I keep on giving during my speech in order to clarify my concept. Conditions like sea level rise and salt water intrusion have advanced to the point where whole communities have had to relocate, and protracted droughts are putting people at risk of famine, as Dr. Pandya has pointed out in his address. And in the future, I hope, and everybody will come to know, that climate refugees is expected to rise. And this is, I think, the term which is a new term, climate refugees. Now this term climate refugees, and you will, as Dr. Kaustubh was saying, that while supervising the work, he came to know many important facts related to the climate change. You will wonder, this about the climate refugees, that this term climate refugees has been used since 1985 when United Nations Environment Program UNEP expert S.M.L. Hinavi defined that these climate refugees, they can also be called climate on environmental migrants. These are those people who are forced to leave their traditional habitat temporarily or permanently because of the marked environmental destruction. According to, this is a kind of data which I collected from one source, that according to UNHCR, which is United Nations Refugee Agency, an annual average of 21.5 million people have been forcibly displaced by weather-related events, such as floods, storms, wildfires, and extreme temperatures since 2008. These numbers are expected to surge in coming decades, with forecasts from an international think tank, the IEP, predicting that 1.2 billion people could be displaced globally by 2050 due to climate change and natural disasters. This is the data actually which I collected from one source. The four Vedas, the crown of all literature, give a very detailed view of the environment. The very word Paryavaran, environment, means something that encircles us, something that surrounds us, something that engulfs us. Panchabhut or Panch Mahabhut, five great elements, five physical elements, is a group of five basic elements which according to Hinduism is the basis of cosmic creations. Elements: Prithvi, Apa, water; Agni, fire; Vayu, air; Akash, space. The five elements exist in fine proportions in the universe. And if their quality or the quantity is disrupted, the whole cosmic structure would be disturbed. In Matsya Puran, there is a line that Das Koop Sama Vapi, Das Vapi Samo Hrada, Das Hrad Samah Putra, Das Putra Samo Druma. Meaning is that a pond is equal to 10 wells. A reservoir is worth 10 such ponds. Then again, 10 such reservoirs are the same as a sun, but a tree is equal to 10 such sons. एक पुत्र, एक वृक्ष 10 पुत्रों के समान होता है. I not exactly the context is, since the number 10 is here, so I was just delivering one lecture where I found that here also I have seen that so many girls are, they have done very well in different kind of competitions. And I always say कि अगर बेटे भाग्य से मिलते हैं तो बेटियां सौभाग्य से मिलती हैं. And one of my friends, he said that, मैंने उससे पूछा कि आपके यहाँ नया मेहमान आने वाला था, क्या है बताइए. तो उन्होंने कहा बेटी हुई है, तो बधाई दिया मैंने. तो कहा व्हाट रबिश यू आर टॉकिंग, बेटी तो टेंशन होती है. तो मैंने रिपीट करके यही कहा था कि वास्तव में बेटी 10 सन ही होती है, 10 पुत्रों के बराबर होती है, 10 सन. So since this was not the context, but I found it here and that is why I have given it. Now, some poets, dramatists, and the writers, they have made high praise of forests, rivers, mountains, and the whole majestic nature. We can take the example of Kalidas when he wrote Abhigyan Shakuntalam. He placed lovely heroine of the play in the lap of nature. Shakuntala is an integral part of the flora and fauna. To be true, Dushyant just did not fall in love with this lovely lady alone. He's actually enchanted by the whole idea of innocent natural beauty in the forest. Shakuntala was beautiful due to, nature. Nature made her more beautiful. This is actually the role of nature. Now, if you just read Meghdut, for example, then clouds are the messengers of love. Or if you read Raghuvansha, Kalidas has given a very touching story of a peacock's enthralling beauty. In Sri Ramcharitmanas, the childhood of Lord Rama, his education in the natural scene of Gurukul, his stay in the forests for 14 years, Sita's picturesque Ashok Vatika in Lanka, upbringing of love and kush in the lap of nature, they are strong indications of man-nature relationship. Ram asks each leaf and each flower the whereabouts of Sita when she goes missing. In Ramcharitmanas, He Khag Mrag, He Madhukar Shreni, Tum Dekhi Sita Mragnani. In order to develop the culture of plantation, Sri Ram, along with Ma Sita and Lakshman, during their exile, made elaborate plantation. And we have a reference of that, Tulsi Taruar Vivid Suhaye, Kahun kahun siye kahun lakhan lagaye. This is exactly the spirit in which Shakespeare has treated nature in his plays. You just read as you like it, or for that matter, other plays. And if you read Shakespeare, it seems to us as though Shakespeare is prophesying what the great philosopher Rousseau would say a century later, return to nature. As Sir was discussing about coming back to the roots. Shakespeare depicted nature, but when we come to the 19th century British poetry, we find that Wordsworth treats nature as a preacher, as a teacher. And Wordsworth says that one impulse from a vernal wood may teach you more of man, of moral evil and of good, than all the sages can. In the concluding part of the poem Immortality Ode, Wordsworth says, to me the meanest flower that blows can give thoughts that do often lie too deep for tears. Wordsworth is one of the few English poets to describe mystical states, and his writings contain similarities with Buddhist and yogic scriptures. In Tintern Abbey, he feels a presence. He says, a presence that disturbs me with a joy. And in another poem he says, looking at the nature, that my heart leaps up when I behold a rainbow in the sky. If you read the poem By the Sea, you'll find out the concept of pantheism, how God is behind all aspects of nature. He has written a sonnet which attacks the materialistic attitude of the British people. The opening lines are, "The world is too much with us, late and soon, getting and spending, we lay waste our powers, little we see in nature that is ours." Not only Wordsworth, you just read Shelley, Keats, Byron, Robert Frost, Hopkins, Thomas Gray, the list of innumerable poets, they have shown the relationship between man and nature. There is one line of G.M. Hopkins. In one of the poems he says, what would the world be? What would the world be once bereft of wet and wilderness? Let them be left. Oh, let them be left, wilderness and wet. Long live the weeds and wilderness yet. This is one of the poems of G.M. Hopkins. Leo Tolstoy said in one context that one of the first conditions of happiness is that the link between man and nature shall not be broken. And this has been depicted by most of the writers. I hope most of you are familiar with the environmentalist and eco-critic Rachel Carson. Rachel Carson said that the aim of science is to discover and illuminate truth, and that I take it as the aim of literature. This was said by Rachel Carson. Now, when we describe eco-criticism, which is a kind of literary theory based on ecology and literature, it was William Rückert actually who was the first person to term eco-criticism in his 1978 essay entitled Literature and Ecology, an Experiment in Eco-Criticism. But the credit goes to Silent Spring by Rachel Carson, whose reference I have just given. Now, Dr. Pandya took the name of Amitabh Ghosh, and climate change occupies a primary position not just on political and scientific agendas, but in the wider cultural imagination. Just 5 years ago, Robert Macfarlane, who is a British writer, he is best known for his books on landscape, nature, place, people, and language. He bemoaned the dearth of the creative response to climate change, asking, and this is a line from that writer, he asked, where are the novels? Where are the novels, plays, the poems, the songs of this massive contemporary anxiety? Where are those writers? Why are they not writing about this burning issue of the present time? Amitabh Ghosh, whose reference Dr. Pandya took in his address, he asked a very crucial question. Why is the ever-imposing threat of climate change, which has already started making waves around the world? As you know, the 2015 is the hottest year ever recorded, missing from literature and films and personal memoirs. This was actually the statement made by Amitabh Ghosh. I have seen that, in the subheads of the seminar, in the brochure, most of the topics are very much related to the main topic. And they have also given one topic called Cli-Fi. We know about sci-fi and this Cli-Fi and sci-fi. So this Cli-Fi is for climate fiction, which is emerging very fast today, Cli-Fi. It's a form of speculative fiction that features a changed or changing climate as a major plot device. People have been unwittingly writing Cli-Fi stories and novels for decades, though the term came into heavy usage in the past, say, 10 years or so. And the credit goes to a journalist called Dan Bloom. He made this term, popular. I would like to, cite a few examples from the Cli-Fi so that you can better understand it. There was one Kim Stanley Robinson. He's an American writer of science fiction. He has published 22 novels and numerous short stories, and is best known for his Mars trilogy. His work has been translated into 24 languages. Many of his novels and stories, they have ecological, cultural, and political themes, where the scientists are the heroes. Kim Stanley Robinson focused on this particular theme in his Science in the Capital trilogy, which is set in the near future and includes 3, as I have just told you, trilogy: 40 Signs of Rain, 2004, 50 Degrees Below, 2005, and 60 Days and Counting, 2007. Now, his climate-themed novel titled New York 2140 was published in March 2017. It gives a complex portrait of a coastal city that is partly underwater, and it has successfully adapted to climate change in its culture and ecology. I would also like to give you the example of Robinson's novel, The Ministry for the Future. It's set in the near future and follow a subsidiary body whose mission is to advocate for the world's future generations of citizens as if their rights are as valid as of the present generation. Similarly, we have the example of the British author J.G. Ballard. We have also the example of The Road by Cormac McCarthy. It's a Pulitzer Prize. It won Pulitzer Prize for fiction. Then we have Ian McEwan's Solar. It follows the story of a physicist who discovers a way to fight climate change after managing to derive power from artificial photosynthesis. We have also the example of The Stone Gods by Janet Winterson, which is set on a fictional planet Orbus, a world very like Earth, running out of resources and suffering from the severe effects of climate change. In the line of Cli-Fi, that is the climate fiction series, the name of Margaret Atwood should also be taken, a famous Canadian novelist, poet, and short story writer. Margaret Atwood She called climate change the everything change. This is a line from Margaret Atwood. Everything change. And we have a Madam trilogy, which she calls speculative fiction, and there are three works, Oryx and Crake, The Year of the Flood, and Madame, which describe as a post-apocalyptic Earth set in the near future. From Canada, from America, from England, and from India, I would like to take the example of Vandana Shiva and also of Amitabh Ghosh, whose reference Dr. Pandya given, especially of The Living Mountain, which was published last year in 2022. Now, it is of the great literary interest that this climate fiction is slowly but steadily getting established itself as a new kind of literary form. You will wonder that, I was just searching the different titles of the thesis from the different universities, and I found that most of the universities, as Dr. Kaustubh said, that he is also supervising one work on that particular theme. So most of the universities have started, supervising, teachers are supervising on the work related to this theme. In the words of Margaret Atwood, a word after a word after a word is power. So for concerned citizens, the Mother Earth is facing and making all possible change in their lifestyles to reduce their carbon footprint and gives themselves and the world a new lease of life. Central government, as I have told you, they have the Niti Aayog, they conceptualized the idea of mission life, LIFE, lifestyle for environment. Mission life was introduced by Prime Minister Modi at the COP26 in Glasgow in November 2021. It is a mass movement that will nudge individual and collective actions towards the protection and preservation of the environment. The need is there because it is the need of the time that youth must also know their duties, because what I personally think that youths can change the entire scenario if they come forward. In Hindi, if I come to the word youth, that is युवा, और अगर दूसरी तरफ से पढ़ें तो वायु होता है, और वास्तव में सभी युवाओं के अंदर वायु का ही प्रवाह होता है, so they can change the direction of anything. और मैंने एक जगह लाइन पढ़ी थी, मैं इसलिए चूंकि यहाँ पर बैठे हैं कुछ लड़के काम कर सकते हैं, कि तूफानों से आंख मिलाओ सैलाबों पर वार करो, तूफानों से आंख मिलाओ सैलाबों पर वार करो, और मल्लाहों का चक्कर छोड़ो तैर के दरिया पार करो. So, youth can change everything. This life, which is the concept of the Niti Aayog, I think youths can come forward and spread the message of awareness. This mission aims to mobilize at least 1 billion Indians and foreigners to take actions that will preserve the environment for the period between 2022 and 2027. It aims to make at least 80% of all villages and urban local bodies in India environment friendly by 2028. So this is actually the responsibility of all of us to join this kind of campaign and do that. As I told in my inaugural address, that it is our mission to live in such a way that the next generations will find the same world as we have it, or hopefully the better one. And we should believe, we should behave like a responsible citizen and spread the message of the green citizen, saying that Mata Bhumi Putroham Prathivya. Thank you very much.
Thanks a million, sir, for sharing your wisdom. I am so grateful that all of us are here together under the same roof. It's not every day that we are able to gather with such wonderful personalities. The stage is now open for two-way communication. You may interact with our speaker, ask your questions, and pass your positive comments as well.
If you have any questions or if you have any query, any curiosity, if you want to make any comment, जो भी आप इंटरेक्ट करना चाहते हैं, हिंदी में, अंग्रेजी में, किसी भी लैंग्वेज में, उर्दू में, किसी भी लैंग्वेज में, क्लाइमेट चेंज पर if you want to interact, जरा चालू करो भाई.
Hello. First of all, thanks to the all dignitaries present here. And one more thing, my question is very short, but I request all the audience and those who are hearing me physically and not physically but by their existence in Darbar Hall. I salute to them that they have given us this honor. And you people have yet hearing Dr. Shukla ji. I'm very happy that he has quoted Vedas. My question is this: in this era, he quoted Vayu and Yuva. I am a father of 5 daughters. He has quoted that. And they all are flying in the sky. I'm living at Khairagarh. I'm coming to my question very shortly. Only thing is that why we are living in anxiety. What should be the help of nature to release our anxiety? I did one more experiment that proved by research paper. I will narrate it after this question. If I ask a long question, that will be a discussion, not a question answer. So sir, please define the anxiety. Why we are facing Yuva and Vayu? Thank you, sir.
With a great honor to Dr. Mishra, I think that you have plenty of experience, and my experience stands nowhere before you. Even then, I feel honored that you have asked a question related to anxiety. This contemporary time, the 20th century and 21st centuries, I think the word anxiety, depression and all that, they have become very common. But the word anxiety, which I used, was in the context of climate change, climate crisis, climate catastrophe. That why, how the people are facing this anxiety due to this. Because usually people say that, how temperature is, rising, how sea level is rising, how glaciers are shrinking and all that. So they feel anxiety, but they are not coming forward. Some people are there, they're not coming forward to find out the solution. As Professor Tiwari in his inaugural address said, that we sometimes think that what can I do, what will be my contribution if I plant, for example, one sapling, so in what way it is going to help the climate. But this approach must be changed. Each and every person should come forward and contribute for the sake of the environment conservation, for whatever he or she can do. For example, this reference of Niti Aayog, which I said in my speech, of lifestyle for environment. So they are teaching the way we should live. So each one of us should adopt it in one's habits. Whatever can be done for the climate, for the climate action, for the climate justice. Nothing more than that. Please.
Thank you very much for your erudite lecture. And sir, my question is that are not we are ignoring the fact that we should save the climate? That should be the prominence. That should be the most significant task for us. But you have, or we have been learning, or we have been reading in this academia many isms, as for example, eco-criticism, environmentalism, green aqua-literature, sea literature, even the animal studies also coming into that very phenomena. So are not this kind of things that which are a kind of a politics of the criticism that actually make us separated from the main questions? Because we have been, you have been referring to the Amitabh Ghosh and all as stalwarts of the literature, but Amitabh Ghosh also in Ghana Island also have pointed out this fact that we, not only the environmental issue should be discussed in the literature or in the other forms of the academia, but also we have to take care of those fishes, the dolphins, even the snakes, even how the heating of the water that actually, it's not the migration of the human beings, it's also the migration of the aquatic, the species from one place to the another. So, and from that, probably we have been a bit confused nowadays in the academia, and that actually separating us from the main course, the main task, which actually should be. So this is my question, that are not we are being separated. So what your takes are?
Dr. Pandya has already expressed his views in the inaugural address. The point is that so many agencies are working in this field. So many policies are being made by the governments in different committees. As I said in my speech in inaugural, that in G20 18 summit, this climate action is going to be the major topic to be discussed by all the countries. I have seen, as Sir was, saying why and Yuva, why do I take the example of Yuva every time? We people cannot do that exactly what, youths can do. Because they have, if it comes, for example, the question of spreading awareness related to the voters. So they will organize many programs to spread awareness related to casting votes. So Yuva, since the answer was not complete, and that is why I say that Yuva is always Vayu, because उसके अंदर वो प्रवाह होता है. And if I say Yuva, answer becomes Youth United for Voter Awareness, YUVA. The full form, changes. If it comes the time of, COVID, so youths did a lot of work, then Yuva becomes Youth United for Virus Awareness, something like that. As Dr. Pandya said, that, the point is that if we start, say, planting a sapling, if you just see to it, And there are so many photographs which are uploaded on social media, and they become people become the laughing stock also. A small sampling and support of say 20 people for the photographs. Now, what is this? This is like we want to show more than what we are doing. So, as he said, like for example, climate change, the issue of climate change, not only in the context of rising of the temperature, or migration of the human beings. हमको और भी चीजों को थोड़ा देख करके चलना पड़ेगा, and we have to make it much wider and do something in coordination with the government and also with the NGOs. There are many NGOs actually which are doing wonderful things in in the context of say environment. Way back in the year 2012, I organized one seminar on literature environment. People were not very much aware at that time when I organized it in our university, but so many points came after that. Or in one university in England, they have made this climate as a part of their curriculum at the school level. And so gradually, and through awareness, I think we can do all such kind of things. And we should these seminars. When I just came to know that this is the topic of the seminar, and since literary people have also, they are doing wonderful things. तो मैंने कहा मुझे जाना है, कुछ मैं भी पढ़ूंगा और बोलूंगा, मुझे अच्छा लगेगा लोगों से इंटरेक्शन करते हुए. और ऐसा ही जो स्टूडेंट है या जो भी जिसके लेवल से हो सकता है, अगर वो करेंगे तो मुझे लगता है कि जो हम लोग का मिशन है विल अचीव.
Good afternoon, Professor Ajay Kumar Shukla sir. Good afternoon, Professor I.T. Tiwari sir. Sir, with the current situation of many simultaneous wars going on in the world, so like the major countries are fighting with each other, and sir, plus with the capitalist mindset of countries, so my question is that can an individual really make a change, or it all comes down to just political will? Sir, if yes, how? Thank you, sir.
So, first of all, I would like to congratulate you for conducting the program very well, the inaugural program. I forgot to announce your name just as you did it very well. This is also one of the qualities of the students, and I am very happy that the department has given this responsibility to the students. I was thinking that maybe she's a faculty member, but responsibility must be given to the students. And that way they can develop their personality. In my department, no teacher does such kind of work. Students are doing that, and they are learning plenty of things. So you did it very well, and you are also doing it very well. And I hope that in the near future also you will continue with same. Your question is that I think that each and every individual has one's own potentiality, and जैसे नहीं कहते कि मैं तो ये कहता हूँ कि माना अंधेरा घना है, दीप जलाना कहाँ मना है. तो आप आइए ना, यू शुड कम फॉरवर्ड. आप क्यों नहीं आ रहे? आप ये कहेंगे अंधेरा अंधेरा है, तो ऐसे ही ना काम चलेगा. आप जैसे हमने देखा है कि लोगों को जैसे यहाँ पर आएंगे, ये भी आई थी यहाँ पर संचालन करने के लिए, तो इट नीड्स अ काइंड ऑफ विल पावर to face the public, because most of the people suffer from what we call glossophobia, and you should overcome it. Teachers of the department are giving this responsibility to the students. That is very good. हम खुद नहीं करेंगे, दूसरा कोई करे, यही क्लाइमेट और सब चीजों के अंदर है. We can do that. We should always develop can-do attitude. Can-do attitude अगर हमारे अंदर है तो मुझे लगता है हम सब कुछ कर सकते हैं. और एक बार हमसे किसी ने पूछा था, मैं शेयर कर रहा हूँ, आपने पूछा क्या इंडिविजुअल कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकता है, कि सक्सेस कैसे मिलती है। तो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जब बोल रहे थे तो उन्होंने कहा था कि सक्सेस आपको रोड से मिलेगी। तो लोग सोच रहे थे कि रोड क्या होती है, तो चूंकि एक्रोनिम्स बहुत बोलते हैं, तो रोड का मतलब उन्होंने बताया कि ROAD, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, ओनरशिप, अकाउंटेबिलिटी एंड डिसिप्लिन। 4 चीजें लोगों के अंदर जरूर होनी चाहिए। मैं एक बार सोचने लगा, मुझसे किसी ने पूछा कि सक्सेस क्या होती है, तो जो सक्सेस लिखी रहती है तो मैं तो उसका उल्टा समझता हूँ कि सक्सेस आई थिंक इज 1% परस्पिरेशन एंड 99% इंस्पिरेशन। अगर इंस्पायर करने वाला कोई अच्छा मिल जाएगा तो परस्पिरेशन तो अपने आप करने लगेंगे। तो मैं सोच रहा सक्सेस वास्तव में कैसे मिलती है। तो जैसे कुछ स्टूडेंट आते थे, कहते थे वो घर का माहौल सर सही नहीं है, कोई कहता था कि किस्मत खराब है, कोई कहता था कि वो हार्डवर्क, कोई कहता था नॉलेज। में सोचने लगा ये जो वर्ड है, ये वर्ड आई थिंक दे आर गिविंग सम मीनिंग एक्चुअली, सिंस शी हैज आस्क्ड अ क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड टू इंडिविजुअल एफर्ट फॉर क्लाइमेट चेंज। तो मैं लव को देखा, LOVE, फिर LUCK लव को देखा, तो मैं कुछ सोचने लगा न्यूमरोलॉजी के आधार पर। तो जब LOVE को मैं इंग्लिश के अल्फाबेट में रखा पूरा सेट करके, मतलब L की जो प्लेस वैल्यू है, फिर O की है, फिर V की है, फिर EE की जब मतलब 5 रखा, तो ऐसे टोटल मिला के मुझे लगता है लगभग 52 या कुछ आया। लक LUCK लिखा, उसको 55 आया। फिर हार्डवर्क लिखा HARDWORK, 98 आया। नॉलेज को लिखा KNOWLEDG, सभी जगहों पर सबकी जो प्लेस वैल्यू है लिखा, तो 99 आया। अब मेरे समझ में यह है कि शायद सक्सेस का मतलब ये तो नहीं है कि अगर आपको फैमिली या टीचर्स या अपने दोस्तों का प्यार मिलेगा तो 52% सक्सेस मिलेगी, लक होगा तो 55 मिलेगी, हार्ड वर्क करेंगे तो 98 मिलेगा, और नॉलेज होगा तो 99 मिलेगा। क्या इसका मतलब ये है? लेकिन अगर ऐसा है तो ऐसी कौन सी चीज है जिसकी वजह से आपको 100% सक्सेस मिलेगी? कुछ ना कुछ होना चाहिए, कोई ना कोई वर्ड होना चाहिए। Then I came to the conclusion there is a word, attitude, ATTUDE। आप लोग घर पर जाइएगा, सबकी A की जगह पर आप 1 रखिए, फिर T की जगह पर फिर पूरा 100 आएगा। एटीट्यूड चेंजेस एवरीथिंग। और क्लास में मैं पढ़ा रहा था, मैं लिखा बोर्ड पर लाइफ इज, फिर NOWHERE, पूछा बच्चों से, कहा लाइफ इज नोवेयर लिखा है। मैंने कहा नहीं, पढ़िए ढंग से, लिखा लाइफ इज नाउ हियर। डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर एटीट्यूड, द वे यू ट्रीट इट। कौन कहता है कि मतलब ये एंड और नो होता है? मैं तो हमेशा नेक्स्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी बोलता हूँ। कौन कहता है END एंड होता है? मैं तो कहता हूँ एफर्ट नेवर डाइज होता है। तो ऐसी चीजें मुझे लगता है कि इफ यू डेवलप इन यू देन यू विल बिकम अ वेरी सक्सेसफुल। और लाइफ जैसे लोग जाते हैं ना, अपना काम करने के लिए जाते हैं, सब चीजों में जाते हैं, लाइफ मेरे आधार पर सेटिस्फैक्टरी सबको बनाना चाहिए। यू शुड लिव द लाइफ, यू शुड लिव एवरी मोमेंट, एंड लाइफ कैन बी मेड वेरी सेटिस्फैक्टरी। बहुत आसानी से आप सेटिस्फैक्टरी बना सकते हैं। हमसे किसी ने पूछा था तो मैंने उसको बहुत जवाब अच्छा दिया। मैंने कहा लाइफ को सेटिस्फैक्टरी आप 3 फैक्ट्री लगा करके बना सकते हैं। तो कहा कौन सी 3 फैक्ट्री लगाएं? मैंने कहा दिमाग में लगाइए आइस फैक्ट्री, थोड़ा ठंडा रहेगा। दिमाग में लगाइए आइस फैक्ट्री, और जुबान पे लगाइए शुगर फैक्ट्री, और दिल में लगाइए लव फैक्ट्री। लाइफ बन जाएगी सेटिस्फैक्ट्री। ये मुझे लगता है इस तरीके की चीजें अगर हम लोग सोचेंगे, करेंगे, तो वो नेचुरल सी बात है। चीजें और सब अलग अलग तरीके के लोग हैं, अलग अलग तरीके की अप्रोच है। अब जैसे मान लीजिए अगर आप प्लांटेशन में लगाने के लिए जाएंगे तो 4 लोग ये जरूर मतलब खड़े होकर कहेंगे इनके पौधे लगाने से कौन सी चीज हुई जा रही है। अभी अगर आप थोड़ा मुस्कुराने भी लगे तभी मुझे लगता है कि अगर 2 लोग थोड़ा आपसे प्रसन्न रहेंगे, 4 जरूर कहेंगे कि मुस्कुरा बहुत रहा है। तो जैसे ये अब हम जो भी चीज जहां कहीं भी करने के लिए कोई भी चीज जा रहे हैं, और मुझे तो बड़ा अच्छा लगता है कि जैसे चूंकि मैं भी आई ऑलवेज कीप ऑन स्माइलिंग, यू विल फाइंड आउट एवरी टाइम आई स्माइलिंग फेस। और आपको इस तरीके की चीज़ों को कोई भी काम अगर समाज का करने के लिए जा रहे हैं, मुझे लगता है ऐसा ही करना चाहिए। लोग मजाक करेंगे, जो मुस्कुराएं, जो आपकी क्रिटिसिज्म करें, उनको देख देख कर आपको और मुस्कुराना चाहिए। ये मेरी पॉलिसी है, और उनको आप ज़रूर कहिए कि चलो आज थोड़ा फिर से मुस्कुराया जाए और बिना माचिस के ही कुछ लोगों को जलाया जाए। सभी लोगों को करना चाहिए, और इंडिविजुअल एफर्ट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। एज योर क्वेश्चन वाज दैट डोंट थिंक दैट माय कंट्रीब्यूशन इज नॉट देयर, योर कंट्रीब्यूशन इज ऑलवेज देयर।
The presence and participation. Okay, ma'am.
It's going to be lunchtime, but she is the most deserving person candidate to ask that question. Yeah, please. She is the one who has submitted PhD on climate change and all that.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Hindu Nair. I have recently submitted my work on Margaret Atwood's Manhattan trilogy under the supervision of Dr. Kaustubh, sir. So, sir, my question is that when I was going through this research, as sir said, that very scary and fearsome things we have encountered, which could happen to our world. So, and I also saw that people are pretending. They know, everybody knows that climate is changing, something is happening to our earth, but people are pretending as if nothing is going on. Today I was very much pleased to see Kashinath Tiwari sir riding a bicycle and coming to the university. So when he can do, why can't these youngsters? So definitely young ones are the change makers. They are the change makers. I interacted with these young students also, but they only know about global warming. But beyond that, they are not thinking. So I think that it is the prime responsibility of we teachers also to guide them. And I think that the change will be beginning from the school and from college itself. So sir, please put some lights on how to guide these students, because they don't want to leave behind their comfort. All want to seek comfort. They don't want to leave behind their cell phones, their vehicles. Likewise, there are many other things. There are sci-fi, cli-fi, and they are enjoying it. They are watching all the movies. Terminator is one of the famous movies which youngsters used to watch now. Recently, Avatar, I think part 2 has released. So they are watching it. But they are watching, enjoying, but they are not thinking beyond it, that what is their contribution towards the environment, to how to save the environment. So sir, please put some light on that. Thanks.
You have asked a very good question, that how youths are not following the right path. Right path in the sense that they are not, they are misdirected. I asked one student, what is your goal of life? तो उसने कहा 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. तो मैंने कहा ये क्या है? तो कहा 6 digit salary, 5 day work, 4-wheeler car, 3-room flat, 2 cute babies, and 1 sweet wife. This is the youth of the country. What is the responsibility of the teachers, especially, to show them the right path, to make use of their potentiality? When I go for my class, I always say one sentence. कि मैं अंग्रेजी पढ़ाता हूँ, लेकिन मैं अंग्रेजियत नहीं पढ़ाता हूँ. This was the sentence. Don't come under the Western impact. और ज़्यादातर वेस्टर्नाइज्ड, जैसा इन्होंने पूछा क्वेश्चन, वेस्टर्नाइज्ड इम्पैक्ट जब आता है तो चीज़ें धीरे धीरे खराब होने लगती है, अपनी संस्कृति भूलते हैं तब खराब होती है। एक जगह लिखा हुआ था कि जीभ काट डाली अंग्रेजी खंजर से, कानों में वेदों का रस कौन घोलेगा, और युवा पीढ़ी को तो मोबाइल से ही फुर्सत नहीं है, भविष्य में गीता और रामायण कौन खोलेगा। This was actually the mobile culture. Why, how the young people, youth, students and all that, they are engrossed in mobile and they are unconscious about the duties and responsibilities of the society. तो मुझे लगता है ये भी हम सब लोगों का काम है कि उनको जागरूक करना कि किस तरीके से हम समाज के प्रति जागरूक नागरिक के रूप में काम करें, एक रिस्पॉन्सिबल सिटीजन की भूमिका को निभाएं। थैंक यू।
The presence and participation of all of you has made this day even more extraordinary. Thank you everyone. Now I would like to invite today's chair, Dr. I.D. Tiwari sir, on mic to give us concluding remarks.
Thank you. I'll be as brief as I can, and I'll be summing up because the one who presides, his duty is just to sum up what has been delivered, not to add anything. But I would like to begin with a good note that many of us don't succeed because we don't begin. Many of us don't succeed because we don't begin at all for the fear of unsuccess. So, please start doing the things. Please begin. The moment you start thinking in your mind about a work, that is the first stage of your work. So, if you don't think about a work, you can't do that now. And let us be positive. मुझे बहुत पहले किसी ने सुनाया था, कौन कहता है आसमां में सुराख नहीं हो सकता, यारो ज़रा तबीयत से एक पत्थर तो उछालो। आप पत्थर उछालो तो तभी तो सुराख होगा, आप तो बैठ गए हो। तो असल में इन आवर लाइफ्स हम में से हर कोई कृष्ण और किसका संवाद है, युधिष्ठिर का, अर्जुन का। तो हम में से हर कोई अर्जुन है, ठीक है, और हमारे अंदर ये कृष्ण भी बैठा है। जब हम कृष्ण को तवज्जो देंगे तब अर्जुन बात मानेंगे। हमको ये समझाना है। बिफोर आई स्टार्ट समिंग अप, आप सब जानते हैं, देखिए किसी भी कॉन्फ्रेंस में दैट इज़ नेवर न्यू, ऑल द ओल्ड थिंग्स आर, इट्स जस्ट अ काइंड ऑफ रिमाइंडर ऑफ द ओल्ड टू द न्यू पीपल और इन अ न्यू वे कि ये होना चाहिए। कोई नया ज्ञान हम नहीं देते हैं, कहीं का भी एक्सपर्ट आ जाए हम सब देख करके बताते हैं, जो पहले से है वही हम बताएंगे, बट देन इट रिमाइंड्स अस दैट दिस इज़ अर्जेंट नाउ, दिट हैज़ टू बी डन। तो वो काम हमको कहीं से भी शुरू करना है। अक्सर हम कहते हैं कि दैट आवर कंट्रीब्यूशन इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू बी रिकॉग्नाइज्ड, and if it is if I do something, who is going to care for it? Do you think that my little work is going to be acknowledged and reckoned with? Who will care for it? I tell you, आपका वर्क ही नहीं, आपका आइडिया भी जो आता है आपके दिमाग में, वो भी ब्रह्मांड में दर्ज हो जाता है। Any idea that comes to your mind, that's a part of the whole design. There is a desire in the fall of a sparrow. एक छोटी चिड़िया भी कहीं मरती है ना, तो वो ईश्वर की एक डिज़ाइन है। इट डजंट हैपन ऑल ऑफ ए सडन। बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, बट लाइक द हीरो ऑफ वेस्टलैंड इन टी एस इलियट, थिंग्स डोंट इंस्पायर अस। हमको रामायण इंस्पायर नहीं करती, हमको राम इंस्पायर नहीं करते, हमको हनुमान जी इंस्पायर नहीं करते, हमको भीम इंस्पायर नहीं करते हैं। हमारी प्रॉब्लम ये है दैट वी हैव स्टॉप्ड टेकिंग इंस्पिरेशन फ्रॉम आवर आइडियल्स। लेकिन चीज़ें हैं, आप रामायण के कितने पात्रों को याद रखे हुए हैं? राम को, सीता को, लक्ष्मण को, रावण को। आपने गिलहरी को भी याद कर रखा है कि नहीं? गिलहरी याद है कि नहीं? यू डू रिमेंबर दैट स्क्वायरल? और वो आपके दिमाग में एक लकीर खींच दी गई है हमारे एग्जाम्पल के द्वारा, ये कह करके कि इस स्क्वायरल की पीठ पर जो 3 निशान है वो राम के निशान हैं. दिस इज हाउ रामा हैज़ रिकॉग्नाइज्ड द लिटिल वर्क, नॉट ऑफ ह्यूमन बट इवन ऑफ एनिमल्स. And you think that your little work is not going to be recognized? How foolish you are. स्क्वायरल की पीठ पर राम ने 3 लकीरें बनाई. तो राम माने हमारे लिए तो ईश्वर हैं, उन्होंने तो जानवर के छोटे एफर्ट को भी रिकॉग्नाइज किया है. आप तो आदमी हैं, मैन इज मेड इन द इमेज ऑफ गॉड. आपके एफर्ट को क्यों नहीं रिकॉग्नाइज किया जाएगा? तो ये स्टॉप दिस बहानेबाजी और काम करना शुरू कीजिए. अच्छा सोचिए. देखिए, अगर आप इफ़ यू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग गुड अबाउट द इन्वायरमेंट, अबाउट द क्लाइमेट, देन इट इज़ अ बिगिनिंग ऑफ अ गुड थिंग, बिकॉज थिंकिंग इज़ द फर्स्ट प्रोसेस ऑफ डूइंग. So with that little comment from my own side, let me sum it up and say that it's not always that you have a scholar like Shukla ji, who is so well read and nothing is left untouched. If you talk about climate, he starts with the Vedas and comes to Etude. So right from the beginning, right from the deepest past of the history to the latest cli-fi issue and all that, he has exhausted everything. So this kind of scholarship doesn't come in a day or in a year. It comes in decades. When you constantly, with perseverance, engage yourself with the books and when you listen carefully, then you evolve such kind of scholarship. I think that I had requested him to be brief, otherwise he could have spoken for hours together. So thank you very much, sir, for coming here. And it was a chance meeting in Allahabad, perhaps in one of the board meetings, that I looked at him and I thought that I must fall in love with him. And that worked. And he requested my prayer and he came here. So those who have listened carefully to his lecture, they must have learned many things. When he starts talking about the problems of the 20th century, and then he comes to our time, the present time, what are the problems that we are facing. And I do agree with him when he says that is the time that we should not say save the earth. Let us say serve the earth. और हमारी परंपरा में तो वो उससे भी आगे निकल गए हैं. सर्व नहीं करना है. वी आर टू ऑनर द अर्थ. सुबह उठते हैं तो पृथ्वी को प्रणाम करते हैं, ठीक है ना. शाम को सूरज अस्त होता है तो उसको भी प्रणाम करते हैं. हमारे यहाँ जो देवताओं का कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, कितने देवता हैं? 33 करोड़ देवता हैं. तो ये देवता का मतलब वो द वन हु गिव्स यू, दैट ही इज़ द देवता. जो आपको देता है वो देवता है. तो ये जो 33 करोड़ हैं, ये दीज आर डिफरेंट डेट्स दैट वी वो टू नेचर. ये हमारे डेट्स हैं, कर्ज हैं जो हम नेचर को हमको वापस करना है. चाहे वो सूर्य देवता हों, उनके प्रति हमारी ड्यूटी है, चाहे वो वायु हो. और बड़ा अच्छा कॉन्सेप्ट आपने बताया. हमारे यहाँ किसी भी नायक की कल्पना बगैर प्रकृति के नहीं की जा सकती, नहीं की गई. सबसे खूबसूरत महिला अगर कोई है तो वो प्रकृति का हिस्सा ही होगी. जैसे अभिज्ञान शाकुंतलम में शकुंतला, ठीक है. सीता माँ से ज़्यादा खूबसूरत कोई हो सकता है क्या? इसलिए राम जगहों पर नहीं ढूंढते हैं, किसी रोड पर नहीं ढूंढते हैं. वो उनसे पूछते हैं जिससे सीता माँ बनी हैं. किससे? खग मृग मधुकर श्रेणी. खग और मृग स्पीड भी है, मधुकर श्रेणी माधुर्य भी है. तो आपको इफ़ यू आर रियली लुकिंग फॉर पीस, इफ़ यू रियली वांट दैट यू शुड बी फ्री फ्रॉम एंग्जाइटी, ये सारी चीज़ें आपको नेचर में ही मिलेंगी. रिटर्न टू नेचर, व्हेन आई से दैट रिटर्न टू रूट्स, सर ने जैसा बताया, वो रिटर्न टू रूट्स नहीं है, वो रियलाइजेशन है. क्या रियलाइजेशन? दैट यू आर नॉट डिफरेंट फ्रॉम नेचर, यू आर द नेचर. यू रियलाइज दैट यू आर द नेचर. और ये कॉन्सेप्ट लेकर हम चलेंगे तभी हमारी चीज़ें आगे बढ़ेंगी. डॉक्टर मिश्रा जी ने बहुत अच्छा सवाल पूछा और बड़ी चतुराई से पूछा, जो कि उनकी फील्ड है. आप एमडी हैं और बहुत बड़ा काम कर रहे हैं अभी आप इन चीज़ों पर. एंग्जाइटी और इसका क्या रिलेशन है, आपके क्लाइमेट चेंज का क्या रिलेशन है. तो मैडम पांडे बैठी हुई हैं, इनका पूरा पेपर है सर उसी पर. क्लाइमेट चेंज की वजह से कौन कौन सी डिजीज़ेस हो रही हैं और हार्ट अटैक कितने परसेंट बढ़ा हुआ है, बीपी कितने परसेंट बढ़ गया है बिकॉज ऑफ द क्लाइमेट चेंज ओनली. In fact, that is true, sir, that when climate changes, everything changes. And when everything changes, we change. So let us hope that we are going to change, in a positive way. Thank you very much, sir, for giving such enlightening lecture for us. Thank you very much. And thank you very much to all of you. आप सारे लोग हमारे साथ अब लंच पर चलेंगे, कोई छूटेगा नहीं, सारे लोग चलिए. हमने ज़्यादा लोगों का खाना बनवा लिया, लोग कम लग रहे हैं, इसलिए कह रहे हैं, संकोच मत कीजिए. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you so much, Dr. I.D. Tiwari sir, for your meaningful words. At the end of this plenary session, I would like to invite Dr. Kaustubh Ranjan sir for vote of thanks.
मैं बस वोट ऑफ थैंक्स देने के लिए ही हूँ और आपके भोजन के बीच का जो आखिरी पड़ाव है वो मैं ही हूँ. तो थैंक यू सर फॉर दिस वंडरफुल लेक्चर एंड योर deliberation actually made this conference what we have titled it as interdisciplinary conference. So thank you very much, sir. It was not only about environment, so we were not only receiving lessons related to climate, but we were also receiving lessons related to life. So I really thank you, sir, for this wonderful lecture of yours, and I am sure our students must have gathered a lot from this, and they must have received food for thought by your lecture. And sir, you quoted हरिवंश राय बच्चन, है अंधेरी रात पर दीवा जलाना कब मना. तो that is the sense, that is the hopeful thing that Shukla sir talked about. And Tiwari sir was talking about T.S. Eliot's Wasteland. And when we read Wasteland, then to save or this wasteland or to give a sense of hope, T.S. Eliot also looks towards Indian culture and Indian mythology when he says Datta, Damyat or Dayadham. And he concludes Wasteland with what we conclude all our prayers, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So I conclude this session with the note of peace, that we all must have gathered a lot from here, and we shall be in peace with nature. That is very important for us. और संस्कृत में हमारे यहाँ श्लोक है भी कि जल बिंदु निपातेन क्रमशः पूर्यते घटा. तो every effort matters. हर बूंद जो है वो मैटर कर रही है, हर एफर्ट्स मैटर करते हैं. तो थैंक यू वेरी मच सर फॉर दिस एनलाइटनिंग लेक्चर ऑफ योर्स, एंड आई ऑल्सो थैंक तिवारी सर फॉर कंक्लूडिंग द सेशन शो वेल. एंड नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट काजल टू गिव a token of love from our side to Ajay sir. Tiwari sir would present it. that is again a piece of a token of love from our side to you, sir. This is also from the same threading group, Bunkar Sangh, that we have nearby. So I request Tiwari sir to present that to Shukla sir as a token of love from our side.
ये प्रमोट करते हैं हम लोग श्री कदम के प्रोडक्ट को, तो गिफ्ट कोई ऐसी चीज़ मेटल की ना दे करके ये हम देते हैं सर, और ये आपके लिए नहीं है, ये भाभी जी के लिए है। कि आप जाएं तो हमको कूड़े में छोड़ें।
सर घर का पर्यावरण भी अच्छी रखने की चीज़ दे रहे हैं। So thank you very much to the speaker and the chair, and now I request you all to join us for the lunch at our guest house. So all of you, I request all of you to please join us, the volunteers, research scholars, all the dignitaries, guests, everyone, please come for lunch. Thank you.
Thank you. You did it so well.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank